we're starting the timer this time. This video is going to be about axes. We're going to start on this end right now. My axes are they're constructed into 4 groups. Very large axes, which is that double bit axe clear down here. This is an early 1900 axe. It's in the Paul Bunyan or northern Minnesota, Wisconsin style axe. You can tell that by the upraised top and lowered bottom with the rounded the tips down here. That's the first axe that I put into my collection. I rehandled this in the early part of 1980, 82, 83, something like that. This is a carpentry hatchet. This dates back to the same basic time period, early 1900s, late 1880s, 1890s. This is meant to be used as a carpentry axe to shape wooden parts for house construction and furniture construction. It's flat on one side and it's got the beveled edge on the other. But what these ended up being used for mostly was on firewood piles as a splitting wedge. You'd put this on your piece of firewood, and you'd beat on the back end of it to split your firewood out. Got 4 single bit cruiser style axes. They're all in the 5 pound, 5.5 pound weight range. The one with the wooden handle is a Craftsman. It weighs about a ½ pound lighter. It still has the factory wooden handle on it. I have another handle bought and ready to put on it, but this is still straight and in good shape, so I'm not going to fix it if it isn't broke. These are all about 5.5 pounds. They all have the same basic shape, and they all have the same basic grind on the cutting edge. I put fiberglass handles on these 3 because, depending on who you talk to, a fiberglass handle is between 2 and 6 times as strong and more durable, more reliable than a wooden handle. If you overstrike on a wooden handle, you can end up with an axe in 2 pieces. And an axe with no handle is useless. If you overstrike with a fiberglass handle, you've got to really try to do damage in order to break it and make it unusable. All of my axes are, I've got a black collar painted on all of these axes. That is the general balance point between the handle and the head. If you wanted to do handwork, you would grab your hand right on the bottom of that black mark, and you've reached the balance point of the handle. This is the first store-bought axe that I bought. This was a $10 store brand, no name boy's axe. The head is 1.25 pounds. It's got a 25-inch handle. It's a hickory handle. I've got the handle wrapped with hockey tape. It's friction tape, so that it doesn't slip when I'm using it. And what I did on this one, what I wanted was a wildlife and hunting axe. And if you go through the catalog and look at the Vetterlings or the Brunswick Gransfors Brooks catalogs, their hunting axes are small, £1.25, with rounded poles. Well, I didn't want to take a grinder to one of my 70, 80, 100-year-old axes. So I bought this and I ground the pole smooth, and I rounded all the parts off. I took the DA and took the paint off of one side. I haven't finished sanding it yet, but that's the paint that started off with, and you can tell once the paint's off, if you look at it in the right light, you can tell where the bimetal weld line is up here, which is actually what I wanted to look. But the more I look at this axe, it looks like they put this head on upside down. This longer portion here, I think, should be flopped, and it should be down here. But it still has the factory handle on it, and I can't see busting it up just to change that. But it just looks that way, that it's put on upside down. Still cuts good. As in a comparison, this is it's a Husqvarna axe. It's got a pound and a half head, same as Vetterling's. And if you look at this angle right here, and this shape right here, this is the same exact shape. This is the same blank that they use for Vetterling's the Vetterling's axe line. They just have the Husqvarna stamp instead of SAW, or the initials right here for Brooks, Gransfors Brooks. Gransfors Brooks owns Vetterling's. Vetterling's makes the Husqvarna axe. So, they're right across the street. It's like making an argument of whether you like Chevy trucks more than you like GMC trucks, in my opinion. They're the same truck. They've got different trim pieces, but they're made out of the same steel blanks. They're worked the same way on the same machines. It's just that they put a different finishing stamp on it. So, this axe cost me $55. And for $55, I didn't have to pay over $100 for a Brooks axe. And this is just my opinion. I've used this quite a bit. It holds a very good edge. It's quality steel. And I'm happy with it. So, where are we? Okay, new constructions. This started off life as a full-size double-bit axe. When I found it, the eye was completely destroyed. Somebody had pounded it flat to tighten up the wooden handle in it. So the only way to salvage that was I cut the eye completely out of the axe head. Then I took a piece of pipe off of this end, 1.5 inches long, heated it up, made an oval out of it, and then I welded it in place of it. The original eye was 4 inches long, so the original eye came down to here. I made it a bearded design, cut the eye out, welded it in. I weighed this in. This head right here weighs 2.5 pounds. So it's comparatively light. It's a pound heavier than the Husqvarna axe, and it's 4 pounds lighter than the full-sized double bit axe. For the people that are going to say, well, by welding it, you've destroyed the temper. Well, as I was welding, I welded one line at a time and let it cool down in between. And I was watching the color out here, and the original temper in here, this was left as a hardened edge, and as the heat was coming from the center eye out to the outside, it turned the metal a really light sand brown. So that's the finished temper of many knives, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to end up putting about an 18-inch handle on this, and this is my handmade version of the Nesmuk hand hatchet, unless I use it for trading stock with somebody. But it'll go inside this brand new sheath. This is the most expensive sheath that the man has, Harry J. Epstein. Do a search for that on the internet. It's a hardware store in Kansas City, and that's where I got all of these leather sheaths from. This is the most expensive one. It's for the double bit hatchet or double bit axe, and it was less than $10.